I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So, Shadows of Adam, we started this game in October 1st, 2013. Almost 5 years ago. And released it February 23rd, 2017. Did a Kickstarter in 2016. And let's see, did a DLC release last October, so that's been out for a couple of months now. We're actually playing with the expansion on, so I can show you all that content as well. And also, we're actually on sale right now for 50% off on Steam. Use the exclamation point SOA, it will give you the links to that. Alright, go ahead and get started. So this is like a little prologue scroll, very reminiscent of Final Fantasy VI. I'm not going to try to read any of this. The gist of the plot is that, the backdrop to the plot is that there's this ancient war, and it was over control of magic, and it kind of wreaked a lot of havoc. So a lot of the refugees of the war ended up settling in Adam. They have a lot of issues with magic in general. We're kind of getting a little bit of a cold open right here. Our hero Kellen's just letting down a rope. Asriel is going to join him. You don't know their names yet. This originally had a much longer intro, but I insisted that we have a cold open, kind of like Final Fantasy VII. Tangle. There's a little bit of a scene right here. So this kind of been a little bit of point of interest is that catchphrase that our writer Luke came up with for Kellen is snakes. And I think people sometimes read that and thought that he actually was seeing a snake. No, that's just what he says. It's kind of like darn or damn it, snakes. Alright, so she gives you a little bit of information. Nice things about this game is you can save anywhere. When we started this game... Hey, what's up, Z? We decided to start to streamline some of the things that didn't age well with JRPGs, so no random battles. I'm gonna run around the screen not getting any battles. And being able to save everywhere. So, this originally wasn't the first dungeon of our game. It originally was this thing called the Stone Courtyard. This is back in 2013. The Stone Courtyard was a, I don't know, it was just sort of this weird dungeon, and the plot was very vague at that point. We ended up scrapping it about mid-2014 and ended up doing this Tangle, which really looks quite gorgeous in my opinion. I love the colors and all the weird viney things going out. I actually spent a lot of time making this first dungeon really fun and accessible. One of our devs, Tim Windorf, is big on first-time user experience, so we knew we needed a demo that was going to be good and catch people's attention right away. So right away, we're using this little puzzle to teach you, or we're showing you how to do this puzzle without really giving a tutorial. We like to do a lot of show, not tell in this game, so you might have saw that chest earlier, wondering how to get it. So. And then this little potion is just used as a way to teach you about how to open up your menu. Yeah. Alright. Remember I said no random battles. We took kind of a page out of Final Fantasy Mystic Quest and these little stationary monsters right here. So, like anything, this game is going to sort of teach you as you go. So you have 100 AP, you have these skills. Each one has like a passive defensive option, which gets back 30 AP and gives you like another passive. So he gets a little bit more defense and he gets a chance to counterattack. She gets this, but it increases her magic. This gal attacks. So as he killed that guy, I got 5 AP back. So as you play the game, you'll start noticing how the AP regenerates. If you kill an enemy, you get 5 of it back. If you wait a turn, at the beginning of the next turn, you get 15. Okay, so back here is a little hidden chest. Just a potion. Probably could have put some Hemper there, but it's kind of just a fun little Easter egg. And so I'm going to start showing off some skills. Cleave is nice because it does a percent of max HP. Or current HP, I believe. So the more HP they have, the more damage it's going to do. I think it's like 5% of their current HP plus base damage. So that's a skill that's going to be very useful, especially in the late game when you have monsters with high HP. So originally these sort of puzzles weren't color-coded, but Tim insisted that we make it easy and fun for first-time players. We color-coded them. These puzzles are fairly simple. Hold on 1 second. Which... Alright, so these puzzles are pretty simple. And I remember an early review, one of the first reviews we ever got was from a YouTube streamer named Daria Plays. And she gave us actually a really nice review. Hey Eric. She gave us a very nice review when we were actually doing our Kickstarter back in 2013. And one of her comments was that she hopes that the puzzles get a little better. Because the earlier game puzzles are pretty simple, and then later on the puzzles get quite complex. Actually, Daria ended up making a tutorial video on some of the puzzles in the Water Garden. So this is another area where we kind of do a pretty traditional JRPG thing. We got the main path right here, and as you know, if you go to the side path, you're gonna get a treasure. This guy's gonna guard you. He's gonna fight 2 wasps. Probably take these guys out with a cleave and a lightning. These guys have a basic attack and then a stab, which does like base attack plus an extra 10%. Pretty standard stuff. Okay, I got a revive, which in early game is very useful. There is no auto res in our game, so you're going to be wanting to stock up on revives early on. Okay, another pretty simple puzzle. I want to make sure you go up here though. Get ether, I think. As you notice that these battles are slowly, qualitatively getting bigger. So the first battle was a slime, second battle was 2 slimes. You show up parry, you get 3 AP back. Then it was a wasp, then 2 wasps, now 2 slimes and a wasp. Now you get to see his counter right there. I wish, actually somewhere I still have old builds from 2013 of the first intro dungeon we used to have. And it was called the Stone Courtyard, and it was very interesting. The plot made really no sense, and this is actually pre-Luke, before he came in to write our script. Josh and I just sort of had like a basic plot outline of the sort of story beats that would happen, the places we'd visit, but the intro just needed a lot of work. And, and one little thing. So in every dungeon we decided to do these like special little chests. And like kind of our philosophy in this game is always show, not tell. By simple virtue of the fact that that chest is different, it's purple, it looks a little more special. I think the audience or the player instinctively knows that that's more special. And in almost every dungeon, you can see it in plain sight, but you can't get to it. So you're gonna have to figure out how to get there. Also, note, just look how awesome these, like the layering of this is. Luke was so adamant that we changed the courtyard, which was a terrible early dungeon and the story sucked, that he volunteered himself to do all the maps, and from that point on he did all the maps in the game, minus a few that Tim did. I'm always so impressed by how good this map looks. Okay. Let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and parry again. Try to get rid of this guy. I think if you don't kill this plant guy, he's gonna heal himself a little bit. I got him in 1 hit. Okay. Alright. Perfect. Okay. The smart player will start learning the fastest ways to take out enemies. A lot of the game combat, which was really developed a lot by Tim, did a brilliant job with it. It's really based on a lot of forward presence, I feel like. In the early game, you can sort of get by with taking your time, maybe being a little tanky. But later in the dungeons, let's say starting about Borges or the swamp is where you really start getting creamed if you stall too much. The game is really about like kind of getting forward momentum, keeping good stock of your AP, and not stalling too much. Like a lot of people might think that can drive me crazy. But yeah, people like to stall, maybe like try to hoard AP, but you can get punished for that. So that's gonna give me like a little. They're always like a weapon that's like a small little upgrade. One of the things we ended up cutting that we wanted to do more of, but we wanted to have more of the weapons have more passives. A few in the late game do, but unfortunately the way we had coded our weapon inventory system, it didn't have a lot of flexibility to have like a lot of passives. We had to like do ad hoc code to get it, and by the point we were deciding to add this, it was months away from release, so it ended up going to the cutting board. So this is save. He's the kind of a snarky save point. Like I mentioned earlier, you can save anywhere. He's sort of like a fourth wall developer guy telling you should probably save because the boss is coming up. Alright, just checking my frames. Good. So I think I got everything. So I got 7 potions, 2 ethers, and 2 revives. 3 of those potions were dropped from those plant guys. This is actually something I got from Mario 3, where you kind of front load the party with healing items. So in Mario 3, if you play the first world really well, you can get a lot of 1-ups. This is kind of a way to reward players who are sort of ambitious. Okay, so this scene right here was originally going to be the intro of our game. But when I was reading it and seeing it, and like this guy said, this has gone on for far too long. It's kind of how I felt. This scene just was terrible for the intro, because people want to play. So I convinced Luke to make this as a flashback. 1, it's more narratively interesting, and 2, it allows the intro to get kind of jump right into the gameplay. It's sort of taking out like Final Fantasy VII, where you just sort of do the mission and the plot's filled in later. Essentially all you have to know right now is that, as I mentioned, all these people are refugees of the Rhythm, so they have a lot of suspicion about magic and its terrible power. And they are suspicious of Azzy because she has magic, and this giant tangle just formed near the town, and they're trying to figure out why. So they're all sort of accusing her. When we did this scene, Luke was having trouble showing who was talking, so we used a combination of different like poses, like this old guy shakes his cane, people jump. Jumping's a very cheap way to get animation, without having to spend the money or time to make a certain animation for everyone. It was worth it for the old guy, I think. But Orazio's ghost said. And a little, this is a good one. Very close to figure out. Kellen's a little bit of a hot man. Basically, they saw his father, a ghost of his father. Something dark. So trying to volunteer Weldon to do it. Weldon's a big shit talker, but he's not going to go down to the tangle. And if you notice in the top left, there's a guy kind of peeking in the tree. It's kind of weird. By the way, how's my all my levels are okay as far as mic versus game volume? Azzy Stakes. So one thing that I've always been happy that kind of caught on was that I see a lot of Let's Players and regular players, when they play the game, they always call Azrael Azzy, which I think is a fun little nickname. This scene right here, I made this scene. I think I probably made about 75% of the scenes in the game, based on Luke's script. And this one, I probably went through 8 different drafts. I remember Tim would do like little kind of storyboard mock-ups, and we just couldn't get the flow right. I remember this scene really coming alive when we got sound effects in. We hired a guy, Austin Shannon, who's a great sound effect artist, and adding the sound effects really brought this scene alive. So, Curtis is super badass. And you get to see him do his like AoE move right there. Another example of the show not tell. I think savvy players might see that and say, oh, he attacked more than one person at once. In this battle, boss meeting, which I fully ripped off. Not ripped off, but it was inspired by Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. So you might look and say, oh, this G-Wave, that's the move he did in the scene. It's going to hit all of them. It's a little thing right here. Another thing about Mind Read. So there's a lot to talk about here. I'll try to do my best not to stall too much. So I'll start with Mind Read, actually. So Mind Read is scan, basically. And scan is like never used in RPGs. And this move was actually went through several different variations. So originally, Curtis handled sort of strangely. He had this move called Meditate. This was before we had these passive AP restore abilities. He had this move called Meditate, and basically, he used Meditate, and every skill he had went up like one chakra level. So he had Mind Read, and it became Mind Invade. So Mind Read was just a generic scan move. Mind Evade was it scanned them and also inflicted them with a random status, or a random elemental weakness or physical weakness. But that flow didn't work out very well for Curtis. And then we were going to cut Mind Read completely, and as you can see, this boss right here has a question mark for his HP bar. It's always something we wanted to do, to hide the HP bars. But someone, I think it was during our Kickstarter when we had our demo out, someone suggested to us it would be great if Mind Read like revealed enemy HP bars, and that was such a great idea. We did it, and successfully with that one little tweak saved Mind Read. So I'm very happy to have made Mind Read a useful skill, and I've noticed players when they play on Twitch or LP, they like to use Mind Read. That makes me happy that we made Scan useful, or Libra, whatever it's called. But for now, I'm going to use G-Wave. So this is the standard battle where you're going to have to take out the henchmen because they're going to heal the main boss. So I'm going to focus on taking out these guys. Ouch, that crit. And while I do that, I'll talk a little bit about the music. So, a little disclaimer, before Shadows of Adam, I'd never written music for a video game before. I got a master's degree in jazz arranging, and always been a working trumpet player. And I've always written a lot of music, but mostly for live instruments, live bands. I've done 3 records, my own big band and such. But I've always loved video game music, and I've done a lot of MIDIs back in my RPG Maker days. So, when Josh contacted me in 2013 about doing this, I was thrilled, and I wrote the battle theme in one day. At that time, it was actually going to be like an 8-bit style game, but I digress. But when he contacted me October 1st, I was actually just about to start a road gig, Show Mind Read, with this band called the Mavericks, and so I had about 4 or 5 weeks, a lot of bus travel in Canada. So I brought my laptop and I wrote like about, I don't know, 12 to 15 different pieces of music for the Shadows of Adam. This was one of them. I remember basically just listening to Final Fantasy Mystic Quest for about a week, and just in between shows or before shows in the green room, just chipping out a little bit here and there, and finally got it. Suplex, yeah. Oh, let's throw a potion, yeah. This guy's got a light AoE, not too bad. He's got a move called Womp, which he'll start using when he's in his desperation form, which you see right here. This is another thing we took away from Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, the little weak poses, which is a kind of like in line with our philosophy of showing, not telling. Sure, they have an HP bar, but you might not reveal it, so this is a nice way to show that the monster's getting weak without saying it. Yeah, Mystic Quest was a huge inspiration for us in the beginning. In fact, one of the biggest guiding principles of our game very early on was simple done well. Uh-oh. That's not good. We're okay. And Mystic Quest was a big influence. We wanted to kind of make a Mystic Quest type game, but not as shallow. Should be dead. And early on, actually, we had like sorry. Oh, hey, Maxim. I didn't know that the Nightbot did that. Sorry. You're welcome to use caps in my chat. What was I talking about? Mystic Quest or something. Oh, but anyway, so yeah, Mystic Quest was actually an influence. Obviously the top-down view, but that's and Dragon Quest as well, or Lufia. We also we were going to do something that was cut. I remember Eric asked me what we cut. Something that was cut very early on in development was action items, sort of like Zelda or like Mystic Quest, where you'd have items you'd get in the story that be used to help you on the field. So we had like bombs, you would blow up walls, and grappling hooks, stuff like that. I think we had like these jumping boots. If you see in the game, there's a lot of jumping across like stones and such. Originally, that was going to be an item you got that allowed you to cross paths that you couldn't. So like earlier in the game, you might see like a little path you can't cross, and you get it later. We were going to use that in the swamp. When you return to the swamp and go to the passageway later in the game, there's originally going to be a little thing. So this is another little song I wrote. This is just basically a variation on the main theme, kind of Yu Matsu-esque. Yeah, action items would have been nice. If you guys ever develop your own games, you'll realize that you're going to end up cutting a lot. It's just the way it is. We just like it just, as the game kept developing more and more, it just started to seem like it wasn't really meshing with the vision of the game. We were looking at the dollar signs it added, the extra testing to make sure it was fun. Trust me, with 5 guys on the team, all like lovers of JRPGs and video games, there's no shortage of ideas. We had lots of cool ideas that were ended up on the cutting board. I'll try to talk about them as I get there. So yeah, the action items were cut very early on, actually, and there is actually the first draft of the script we got from Luke had scenes that involved the action items. Okay, so another kind of thing we try to do with the game is we want the pacing to be tight, because this is a JRPG for people with jobs. So I'm 30, and most of the guys in the development team are in their mid-30s, late 20s, and we just don't have the time we did when we were 13, 14. So a lot of, like I talked about the cold open, just getting into the gameplay, being able to play and have fun, being able to save anywhere, no random battles. But we still wanted to tell a story about these characters. So kind of the model we do is like after a little bit of dungeoning, we kind of slow the pace down a little bit just for a little bit of story. A lot of the story is kind of centered around Orazio, who's the father of Kellen and sort of the adoptive father of Azrael, which you'll learn a little bit more about later. This scene's just sort of introducing the fact that Orazio likes Azrael, but he really doesn't like his son. You don't really know why. I mean, he's kind of a jerk. As Gaming Navi in his first LP says, Father of the Year. Dead. Stay here and Adam where you belong. I think Tim made that animation. Yeah, Tim, Pop Superstar, is our art director and our battle designer. So if you have any questions in that regard, feel free to ask him. By the way, I think 2 people in the chat have done LPs of Shadows of Adam. Gaming Navi and Eric's Crusade. Thank you guys for your hard work on that. And Maxim Z. Max did a really great Twitch playthrough where he basically 100% of the game. Yeah, man, please, you can post whatever you'd like. The wind sounds in this are actually a very late addition that were added weeks before release. Luke decided that we needed a little bit something in this scene. So he, at that point, we had already paid off our sound effect guy, so he just like bought some free sounds in this game, or free sounds online or something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and save. I would say 99.9% of all the signs. Oh, sorry, dude. I don't know how to disable that. I'll check in a second. But if you guys just go to YouTube and search Shadows of Adam and then look for the most recent videos, you're going to find Gaming Navi's channel. And Eric Crusade did a LP about, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago. It was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, so we like hidden items a lot. Maybe in like version 1.07 we started adding these juices, which are basically like the tabs in Chrono Trigger. It sort of seemed like a low-hanging fruit to us. And I noticed when I was watching people play, people were always checking everything, and we didn't really reward it consistently. There was a later place, like in the third town, Tim put some in a box, and it wasn't consistent with our game. So I decided, or we decided rather, that we're going to put these. One, because it adds a little bit of customization, permanent stat boost, and it's fun to explore. I put 2 in Kellen's house, because if I did it in the first place you're in, it might sort of like telegraph to the player like, oh, I should be checking this. So, I don't know if I did this already. Yep, we'll revive there. Fun fact, you can actually see this chest in the intro, so very astute players, if they notice it, can remember to return to it. There's a couple instances like that in the game you won't remember. Gold, just kind of there. Here's another little thing. This is actually a la Final Fantasy 7 a little bit. When you're in the what's it called, Shinra HQ, and you check the lockers, and it has like a megaphone. What is Sugar doing in a box like this? Remember that for way, way later. Let's see. I'm gonna go get some upgrades first. Like I mentioned, game was simple done well. So the equipment system is fairly simple. It's one area that I know Tim especially wished we had gone a little deeper on, and I have some feelings about that too, as far as we could have gotten a little more mileage. But for the most part, our equipment system is fairly straight ahead. You go to the next town, you upgrade, you find different sorts of weapons in the different towns. It will some have some passives. Later on, there's equipment to have more passives, but that was something we had to kind of cut and moderate a little bit just because of the way we programmed it, deadlines and such. Advice to future devs: just try to have more flexible code at the beginning, so you don't run into these issues later. Like we added a poison infliction on one of Curtis's late game claws, and just adding that was like it's ad hoc code nightmare. So we have a couple cheeky things in the game where we like to have some dev cameos. Luke the poet found the way and promptly forgot it. So Luke's our script writer and scene designer. And a level designer actually. I think this map was made by Tim. Tim maybe did about 15% of the maps in this game, and Luke did about another 75, and I might have done like 2 houses. But Luke was famous in the RPG Maker community, and he released kind of a viral cult game called The Way, and it was really heralded for its story and characters. Not sure what this is all about. For some reason, I don't think Tim has a cameo. There's a potion. This is me. Life on the road. Let him to Adam. When I was, like I mentioned, when I started this game, I was on the road with the band, so I think, Josh wrote these gravestones. Anything that's sort of campy, you could just assume Josh did. Josh didn't really write a lot of dialogue in the game, but the few things he has his fingers on, besides the code, it's very, very Josh. Here lies Ty, he left Canada, the land of beavers, and settled in Adam. Hi, Darren, our other programmer from Canada. The Slumberjack. That's dubs Josh as like gaming tag or whatever. Now this is a little world breaking. I don't know. I think it doesn't bother me too much. It's funny. So Kellen's mother died. Okay, I'm gonna go and buy a few little items before I go So basically all these guys are just talking to you about how you saved the town, and you're just like your father. It's just amazing. Oops. Amazing guy. And, so this is the first, like, real exploration point. I think I've found everything. Let me think. There's 3 juices. Quite a few items. Nice. Okay. Let me check some of things. Nice. Just got this new computer. I used to not be able to stream Shadows of Adam. Now I'm streaming and recording, and I have 0 drop frames. I'm very happy about that. Another little brief scene. They're gonna find this tree and I didn't know that, Tim. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Tim. I had no idea. Wow. Well, this scene is basically just showing a little preview of how Kellen found out that Azrael had magic. She saves him from these wolves. Azrael kind of kept this secret hidden inside of her because she knew that the villagers would never accept it. And Curtis kind of gives off one of his first, like, live one-liners. I also believe, Tim, your sister has a cameo in this game, right? You and your sister are really close. So there's, let's see, I mean, there might be like a homage to like various characters and different things. Later on in the game, there's two soldiers called Luke and Tyler, which are just named after me and Luke because we wrote the sequence of events together and we thought it'd be cute to have ourselves a cameo. I'd have to imagine that Luke was inspired by Kefka when he did Malville, so it's kind of have a Kefka vibe. So I just got a spinach. Unlike spinach juice, just raises your attack in battle. That's actually very good, especially later. That's why they have names. So, as my friend Patrick Coleman always says, the key to good game design is that you don't just quantitatively increase difficulty, you qualitatively increase. Something I really have to give a shout out to Tim doing such a great job was that he, each dungeon, the monsters not just get higher stats, of course that's going to happen, get harder, they last longer, but that's only fun to a point. You're going to slowly see every dungeon introduce new mechanics. So in this dungeon we see 2 new mechanics. The first dungeon where people can inflict status effects. Well, actually that's not totally true. The boss last time could inflict leech, but it was pretty insignificant. Oh, Eric, man, I can show you some insane damage stacking some stuff, dude. I can show you like double up 9,999 suplexes all day. But anyway, this dungeon starts introducing monsters. The wolves can roar you, which stun you, and the thieves, which have high evasion. But when you miss them with physical attacks, they counter. So this is showing you can't go that way. So okay, I gotta figure it out. I think this is the first. No, some other people can use AoE. So this guy right here, the wolf, is kind of a bitch. So I want to make sure I know. He's always going to start by roaring. Hopefully I don't get stunned. Okay. I think after this battle I'm going to learn suplex. Nice. Yeah, there we go. And the first high potion of the game is actually So this was in our Kickstarter demo, and I remember Tim really insisting on all these like really nice animations. There's this nice crow, he's animated. You can see the water moving, the mist moving. So these gravestones from now on are all going to be Kickstarter backers. So we did a Kickstarter, we raised $22,000, and that's unfortunate. And so one of our backer tiers, I think around $50 or so, is that you got to name your own gravestone, which ended up being a lot of fun. The gravestone thing was easy to put toward the jokey stuff around, especially since we had already done the dev cameos in Adam. Yeah, I'm really a fan of the spinaches. Spinaches and apples are really the most useful ones. I've never myself used the other ones, broccoli and so this is another thing Tim added, where you walk and these guys fly. I told you I was sick. That's pretty dark. Yeah, I usually use the spinach and apples. Those can do well. Let's see. Grab any new frames? Nope. Okay. Oh yeah. So here's let's see. So the Misty Woods actually went through a lot of different permutations too. Not just graphically, which if you go to our website, somethingclassic.net, you can find some old blog posts of Tim where he talks about how the art style evolved. But this went through a lot of different versions. Originally, this whole scene with Laura Bath and the Wraith Shroom did not exist in the game. But sometimes it's nice just to have a little bit of scene or a little bit of plot just to sort of lead the player. And later in a second, I'll show you a little bit more of that show not tell philosophy. I don't think we have a single tutorial in this game except for the sneaking. That's the only tutorial in the entire game. And I don't even think we needed that one, to be honest. I think Tim understood that for our Kickstarter demo, the first hour needed to be very impressive and very visually engaging. A lot of, like, in the late game, when we went to beta, it's like late 2016, maybe. Late summer 2016, August, about that time. We were doing a lot of polish passes, a lot of like overlays, small little things like that, fog effects, little things that go a long way. I made sure that everything that needed a sound effect had one. I recently played a game and it was very lacking in the sound effect department, and it's sort of a drag, I think. That's my only big critique. It's basically Laura Baffy's thinking these to be more illusions. She's talking about this sauce she can make to make you see through the mist. She's got a mushroom. How I make the sauce. And this is where I did my best Super Mario RPG impression with the scene. I did the spin. Part of this wasn't in the script for her to spin, but I think I just sort of like imagined what it would look like and sort of tested it. Maybe if I redid it, which I won't at this point, I would not have that second round of spinning. A little weird, but anyway, she's pissed. Okay. Oh, that looks nice. Oh, shit. Here's your first battle that isn't, like, stationary. Fun fact was, this battle, the day before Kickstarter came out, we were getting our demo ready, and I realized that in these event battles, if you ran from them, it would cause all sorts of messed up stuff. So, like, it was literally like 3 in the morning. I was on Slack with Ty and said, we need to make sure that you can disable running. So it was like 4 in the morning before Kickstarter. I'm like adding all these special exceptions to bosses and stuff. Oh yeah, there's tons of secret passages. That's a high potion. That's the second high potion of the game. So high potions, like, in my opinion, I know the item thing hasn't aged as well. This sort of still has its foot in that tradition. So the item thing, I always liked in games where you're playing and you're stuck on the potions, the level 1 potions, and then you get the level 2 potions in the story. You start feeling like you're in that kind of 1/3 midpoint. But I think, you know, if the really good player should be able to get a few high potions early. This is the second dungeon. There's a hidden spider guy here. I'm just gonna go ahead and attack. These guys are pretty easy. So most of the time when people do this, they just do that and they go, well, how did I do it? And then they fall back down. This is definitely a Tim thing. And this would have been cool if we had integrated some sort of like thief class where you could see, but it's not a big deal. Basically like a little sub-path. You get your first little artifact, which is the bandana. Alright. This is like a developer gimme. You're halfway through the dungeon, I'll give you a little potion. This is a show, not tell. They're showing the player that they can jump across these. And it's kind of crazy that the Wraithling is liked as much as it is, because he's kind of got like a Jar Jar Binks-esque character, especially the way he talks, stupid meat. People love the Wraithling. It's weird. Like, I would say of all the characters, he's like, seems to be everyone's favorite character. So we kind of gave him a special role in the DLC, which I won't spoil, but hopefully you guys will see it later. Swan, you know, Hoppy. Funny thing is, you don't even have to do this hop, but we also show that you can hop cliffs. And remember when I spoke about qualitative changes? There's going to be a lot of that later in the game. There's one of the drags about making this game is in our map editor, you have to manually draw all collision. So I remember, like, when this was being tested, we would like forget a spot and you could like go into the river. Pretty meticulous. The stuff I get in the weeds about is like, can you walk over that or not? So Luke made one of them where you couldn't walk over, so I went through the entire game, made sure you couldn't walk over these. Ideally, you would just set a collision for that specific tile, and every time you painted that tile, it would come with the collision. But we did it the hard way. So this music right here is definitely Chrono Trigger-esque. Reminds me a little bit of the 1000 AD world map music when you go to the south part of town. Let's see. Yeah, you know, I don't think anyone in the team liked the sound effect except for me. But it's what it is. There's another great it's another great LP that was done of our game. One of my favorites, actually. Let's see, it's what was it? What's his name? GSD Boxer. Oh no, Curtis. That's a drag. And when he does the Wraithling voice, he like puts like a little like a distortion on his voice. It's really funny. Actually, there's a little secret path over here that I forget. I don't think many people find. I think this is an ether. Ethers can't be bought in stores, so they're pretty rare. So I'm going to show you what happens when I try to attack these guys. They're going to probably dodge. Oh, no, I got hit. But anyway. I would say Tim did a really great job of, oh, here's the first grenade you're going to get to, which is nice. Tim did a very good job of, introducing, like, little things and, like, expanding upon them throughout the game. That's another little fun thing. See the fish jump out, the butterflies. We had all sorts of shit. make this dungeon come alive. Let's see. So these grenades were actually Josh's doing, which are just like basically how they work in FF7, where they're just gonna do non-elemental damage. But these actually are interesting because they can't be blocked, it hits ghosts, it can't be dodged, and it does exactly 75 damage. So it has some niche implications. And Dolewolf speedrunning this game. He gets through some of the shadow monsters and gorges it by just buying 4 grenades. It's the quickest and most reliable way to do it. Speaking of which, he's going to be doing the speedrun at RPG Limit Break in May, which I'm really excited about. RPG Limit Break is basically like a basically 80 GQ or whatever it's called, but for RPGs, and they raise money for mental health charity, which is a great cause. I think the charity's main focus is just sort of the get rid of the stigma of seeking help. I know a lot of people who are in that category who feel ashamed of their problem and they don't want to seek medical help. So I think the organization does a lot of stuff for that. So that's really cool. I'm really excited to be a part of that. Dolewolf's a great runner who's put a lot of hours into routing this game. Remember when we there's the fish again. When we were making this game, we've kind of, as a dev team, thought to ourselves, yeah, you know, maybe if you're really, really good at this game, you could maybe beat it in 6 hours, maybe 5 if you were, like, really good. One day I'm on Twitch, I looked up Shazza Adams, see if anyone's streaming it. This is very early on. I like to pop in on the chat. Well, I'm looking at this guy speedrun the game, and he's totally breaking it. He's got everything, like, perfectly plotted out, and he beats the game in 3.5 hours. It just goes to show, you never know what speedrunners are going to do to your game. It's very exciting. Okay. Yeah, this whole, like, sequence was added to sort of guide this area and give it a little bit more story drama, which I think came out pretty well. If I'm not mistaken, Kellen should learn to cheer up in this next battle. Also, originally we had this whole like convoluted thing where this Rivia area was going to be you rode turtles in different spots, and we couldn't get it to work. And like I even remember like Tim making some art for it and stuff. It just never really worked out. I know Eric mentioned to me he wanted to see what we cut. That was one of the things we cut. In fact, we had the whole design of the forest, and it just wasn't working. It went through a lot of iterations. And it is what it is. Like, we ended up redesigning the entire map just completely from the ground up. Okay, cheer up, great. So this one's a little harder to see, but if you go right to this tile, you can see that purple chest. So you gotta go through this tree. This is a tougher battle. I think it's 3 wolves, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna throw a grenade. Yeah. Look how challenging the Lissy Woods is actually quite challenging. If you're not paying attention. Let's do you. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'll just talk. I like talking. I like talking about my game. Pretty overzealous about it, but this is a magician rod. This is gonna give a pretty good boost to her magic. It's good for the next boss. This next little mini boss is fun. I think he's a very memorable mini boss, even though mechanically there's nothing radically different about him. He has an AoE poison, which is the first time you'll see something like that. Go ahead and do that. Tips for LP, man? Just keep doing what you're doing, man. Just make sure the names of the episodes are funny. Try to highlight is. I don't know if you're doing it completely blind or if you're doing test runs. There's sort of 2 schools of thought I've seen for LPs. Like Eric, I think, does like test runs. He like finds everything, he finds the optimal boss strats, and then he'll test it, and then he'll do a video segment of that. Sort of like the H.C. Bailey approach, where he'll like do a very detailed, like almost like a walkthrough kind of deal. Oh, and there's the other where it's more like blind, where you just play it blind and you experience it for the first time, which is fun too, because then you get like your native reactions and stuff. I don't know, man. Just try to do regular updates and show off as much as you can, and you know. Okay, I didn't know that, Eric. I just remember maybe it was on some of the DLC content. I remember you like going through your inventory, showing like your setups, and you had mentioned you tested a strat for the Surtives. Because yeah, that guy can rough you up. This boss is actually is always a hit at conferences because it's very easy to set up, and it's a pretty simple boss. You have to really screw up to die to this guy, and you get to suplex a giant mushroom. Basically, I feel like this guy, since he's a mini boss, he's sort of like he's just like a regular enemy with just more HP. But he looks good. He's sort of immovable. Oh, I got a burn on him. Nice, very nice. Okay, let's cheer up. And you know, Kellen, if you do all the normal battles, you'll learn cheer up at this point, which is an AOE heal. So, which is really nice because it's kind of cost neutral. It's 15, and this guy's doing AoE damage. Accidentally engaged. Oh yeah, DLC boss. So I'm gonna be doing this every night until Friday, with Friday being our anniversary. And hopefully I'll get through the whole Mystic Cave and all the side quests. I can show you guys. We did a new patch recently, sort of an anniversary patch. And we added a new skill for Azzy. It's borderlining OP, but it's kind of like fan service a little bit. It's pretty baller. I can talk about it now, or you guys can just wait. Maybe it's best if you just see it for yourself. Alright, I brought the mushroom back. Yes, Keith. Cheer Up and Rally actually is affected by his magic stat. But Cheer Up's completely by his magic stat, and Rally's got like a little bit of a modifier. So kind of a secret strat for Kellen is to, if you want him to be like a good Rally Cheer Up guy, is to buff his magical. Yeah, Rally I think just does a straight up 15% off, plus like a fraction modifier off your magic stat. Alright, so I losing frames here? Yeah, Rally has some mod based on the magic set. Like FF4, we have a little cutscene in the middle of the dungeon, very classic, where we're gonna have a little bit of scene. Like I mentioned, we did a lot of dungeoning, now we're gonna have like a little bit of story time. I really love how this fireplace looks. Framed very well right in the center with that little glowing overlay. We're getting a little flashback of Azrael. She's in this crumbling cave. She's looking for her parents and Orazio. We know Orazio. So I know that one of Luke's big influences is the TV show Lost. So a lot of this game is is told through flashbacks. If you notice right there's this weird quirk with our movement system where if two sprites move at the same time, they're not totally synced. If you watch, Azrael's just like a pixel behind. I don't know why. It's one of the things that always bugged me. I can never figure out how to fix it. This is the stuff that bugs me, and literally fixing it has no ROI, so it's not worth it, but just something to notice. I remember doing this sequence of scenes. It was very challenging because it involved switching between multiple maps and then firing off a new scene. So this is the first one I really jumped in and learned how to do the scene system, which I was very reluctant. Early on in development, I said to myself, I'm just going to write the music, that's it. I'm not going to be learning to do the scenes. But when you're an independent developer, you sort of just wear as many hats as possible. So I've done the music. I pretty much did all the testing for battles with Tim. A lot of QA polish. I do a lot of marketing. Tim helps with that. Ty helps with that. We've kind of all done a little bit of everything. Luke, our story writer, who did he wrote the script. He did the level design, the dungeon design. He also does all our business stuff, finances, tax stuff. Yeah, at the moment, Gaming Avi, I know a couple of us are kind of like looking at doing things independently. Like, a couple of us have come up with game ideas. I'm sort of working on a little thing, peripheral. It's very possible that we would do something together again as something classic. I'm not sure if we would do a sequel for this game. I don't see too much potential for a sequel as far as this world. The only thing, if we did do something involving the Shadows of Adam world, the only thing I personally would be into is doing a prequel that stars Curtis and sort of documents it fast, maybe like an action RPG. I mean, probably won't ever happen. It's possible that we might do like a little spin-off using, I don't know, we had nothing planned at the moment. That seems to be one of the more common things we get asked, and it's encouraging because it tells me that people have an interest in seeing more products from us. Weird. Yeah, like Tim said, we're just interested in making games. Right now, we're still developing Shadows of Adam. Pretty much done, I think. I mean, put out another patch and another polish patch, which was very successful, I think. I'll show you guys some of the new stuff. But after 4 years of development, you know, it did take a lot out of us. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but this was a labor of love, and you know, we've had to keep developing it for a year, supporting it with patches, updates, marketing. It's a sprint. I mean, not a sprint. It's a marathon for these sorts of indies. Market's very crowded, so. But we've had good success. Very happy with what we've done for a relatively small team. Small, not as known. We've been able to do some cool stuff. You know, we've got a lot of support from guys like you doing LPs for us and streams. And getting accepted to RPG Limit Break has been pretty big for us. We've done 2 conferences. We did Too Many Games in Philadelphia last summer, and we did MagFest last month, which was a blast. MagFest was like, holy shit, the games were like super good. I remember setting up my little dinky booth, and I was next to this other guy who had like a freaking tent, like these incredible banners, huge like HD TV, and his game looked like super sick 3D. It was awesome. Oh yeah, Goro. So this song actually was written when I was 16. There's 2 pieces of music in this that I actually wrote for a game called Channel Changer, which is an RPG Maker 2000 game. I believe Tim actually did the title screen for it, and Josh helped test. This is like back in, I don't know, 2003, 4 or something. For some reason, I think it was like close to the demo. We just needed a comical theme, and I just sort of pulled this old MIDI out and just kind of touched it up a little bit. The way I like to approach this battle is because Helen's like, cheer up is cost neutral. I'm just going to play it safe and have him cheer up every round, because the Hitler is going to get 2 attacks every turn. He's the fastest guy, and he gets 2 turns. This is the first enemy, I think, that has 2 attacks in a round. By this point, you should have learned cheer up. In fact, those 2 battles before, that little wolf battle before the save point, I added to make sure you learn cheer up. It's good to hear, Keith. That's like exactly what we were going for. Like I said, this is a JRPG for people with jobs, you know, people that love the genre and they just don't have the time to play 60-hour games that are just full of fluff. Yeah, I'm trying to play Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I've been playing since December. 58 hours in. It has been one of the most frustrating things I've ever dealt with. It's just so bloated and so stupid. I'm in chapter 7 now. And there's these like field skills you have to use to get like secret stuff. And for the whole game it's been completely optional. You didn't have to learn these like little like passive skills. Now I'm literally at a point in the game where if I don't have those passive skills, I can't complete it. So 58 hours in, spending no time doing that because I just want to play the game and not get all these secret areas. I'm suddenly 58 hours in the game, chapter 7. I have to actually use these skills and I can't complete the game because I'm so far behind on the progression. I'm so frustrated. So I quit last night and I just decided I'm gonna watch an LP. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do this. Nice. Yeah, this guy's tough. I think the safe strat the speedrunner does is just to spam cheer up. One of the things I like about the speedrun of Shadows of Adam is that there are a lot of mandatory battles, and so throw spinach on Curtis. Actually, no. Let's just go ahead and channel. And so, and a lot of it, the strats will change as the battle goes. It's very fluid. So it's very interesting. You have to be responding. You can't just have like a set strat. Alright, is this guy dead yet? And a max revive. First max revive in the game. Always like remember old Final Fantasies, like you get that elixir drop from like the 4th boss, and it's like a big deal because it's like the first elixir you're going to see. There's one chest there. There's another one somewhere. Oh, here it is. This is grenade. Ah, I remember. No random battles. You actually have the freedom to explore, so sort of try to reward that. Okay, an hour in. Really gonna be 3 hours? Maybe in like 30-40 minutes, I might take a little 5-minute break and get a cough drop. Stretch out. And this was the end of our demo. So the demo ended right here. The demo was really useful for us. It helped us get kickstarted too, and we got a lot of great feedback. So 2 of the things that weren't in the demo that we added soon after was the mind read revealing HP bars, which was the best idea that a backer has ever given us. And the second one was actually those passive defensive options, which someone suggested. They wanted a way to be able to get back AP. A little trick, if you don't want to spend money at the end, just, but there was also like a few balance things we did, but if you guys look up Daria Plays, she did a really great review of that demo, and I still always laugh when I rewatch it because sorry. Hello, Dorothy Gale. Thanks for doing the stream of the game earlier. I still always laugh at Daria's review because she's very complimentary and she said she liked what she saw, but she hoped that puzzles would get more complex. So this is another backer thing. I think there were maybe 4 or 5 people who got to do their own quest, so this guy has a very simple quest. It was quite challenging to make these work in our game, but we did the best we could. Backers gave us, you know, good amount of their hard-earned money, and we wanted to reward them with a chance to influence the game. So this is the first quest, and it's actually very easy and worthwhile doing. Okay, so this is the... Actually, sorry. Hi, Ethan. The first time you see Zach and they're just lamenting the fact that they don't have a gig, and I think this might have a gig. Very simple little fetch quest. The other few quests, one's a little more elaborate. Tyler Darren's brother, I believe, or cousin, or brother or cousin, did like this elaborate quest, and we involved this like whole island and this dispute between these two clans. Oh crap! Okay, goes on. Max revive, 3 revives. It's very good early. Very early on, those are very useful items. I'm gonna go ahead and just finish this. These guys go out with 1 chi wave. Plus poisoned, ghost type enemies are gonna be killed pretty fast with chakra. Which I like to equate it to Pokemon's like psychic energy. This guy. And this is about the game where people start really getting their I think the Wind Tower is like the first dungeon where you really start kind of hitting your groove, figuring out everything works. Ether, and then the second accessory of the game, the glove. It's going to increase accuracy by a little bit. I'm just going to give it to Curtis. Okay, now the fun starts. The first really big city. Actually, the biggest city in the game. All the rest are fairly small. Let's see. Okay. I know Tim did this scene, but there was a time where he was learning. So there is a lot to do. There's a lot of lore in this, I don't remember the telephone. There was a lot of lore in this, oh yeah, Zack and Nick, I do remember. Yeah. There's a lot of lore from the soldiers, mainly. Jordora became the dominant power in the game when they won the Wraith War against the Loden Empire. So a lot of the soldiers are talking about, this guy's mentioning, if I ever saw a Loden Mage, I'd send him to the Wraith World, 1 good slash. Magic can't compete with steel. Jordora proved that 100 years ago. Oh, and here's a little recent thing. We added this 2-tile thing so you wouldn't get trolled by NPCs. So this is, since I have DLC, I'll go ahead and do this. So basically this guy was trying to get into the guild, but he lost an important item, so he's not allowed in. Right here, if you go here, you can read about some legendary artificers of lore, and these are the testers for our DLC, which did a really great job. DLC, I think, came out really well. I was really happy with what happened. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and go and upgrade all my stuff. Extreme reluctant? I don't remember being that extreme. I'm pretty stubborn, though. I probably held back a lot of progress in the game. So she's got that. Okay, good. What's that? Pretty straightforward. Solve that. Yeah, I didn't write a lot of lines in this game. Maybe a handful. Say 98% of the game is written by So you're getting a little bit of lore dumped from these guys. This lady's talking about Prince Malval and how even the luxuries of lower life aren't worth marrying him. He's talking about how Prince Malval was passed on the throne because of he was just a little unstable. It's kind of auxiliary stuff. It's not quite essential to the game plot, but it's more flavor if you want to go into some lore stuff. This is actually one of our backers of our game. He wanted this to be his text, so we made him an artifact seller, and we kind of put him in this list. You can buy this. Decent stuff. These are more Kickstarter backers. Benjamin? So, okay. So here's the area where we skim the edges a little bit. So Tim had to do something like 40 custom sprites for these Kickstarter backers. And So to save time, we only made one. A lot of these only have one direction they face, so we try to come up with situations where it makes sense where they wouldn't face you. This guy's just looking at his drink, just talking to the chick at the bar. She actually looks. I think this is maybe Tim's sister bought this. It's like flavor text and all this stuff. Search every bottle. This guy. Yeah. See, more flavor text on King Lindorf. He's the younger brother and he became king. But everyone's kind of talking about how terrible Malva is. This guy's talking about the Knights of the Rounded Table. Knights of the Rounded Table helped Jador beat the Lode Mages in the Wraith War. This guy's gonna sell some stuff. We don't really need it right now. Yeah, basically, if you want to learn the background, just talk to all the soldiers. And the NPCs too. They're talking about how, they're talking about how Loden beat, or Jador beat Loden in the Wraith War, and Loden is this mysterious continent no one's been to. So of course we'll never visit Loden. And this guy, this is what he wanted to say on our Kickstarter backers. Okay. This guy, let's see. I could do another potion. I got 11 revives on the check. Sequel, not sure, man. Probably unlikely we do a sequel, but there might be some sort of follow-up of some capacity. We were actually just talking about that a little earlier. I didn't know that that was there. Is that in the guide, Tim? I completely forgot that crab leg was there. So Luke did a really great job of building lore. This guy right here is really interesting because he's a magician, and magic's so mysterious, so he just does these like, kind of parlor tricks, you know, sleight of hands. He doesn't really have it. Maybe he does have it. I don't know if in lore he has it, but I always imagine that he's using tricks. These people are just like freaking the fuck out. It's like, holy shit, this guy just meant behold the power of the Wraiths. Anyway. Okay, did I talk to that guy? So here's Errol. He got kicked out of the guild. And he is the great-grandson of one of the founders of the guild. And he knows a little bit about artifacts, their magic. And we actually got so... This is a little area where we got a little wonky, but I think it works. So he actually offers a lore explanation for why you can only equip one artifact at a time. And it's because they don't play nice with one each other. And artifacts interact with your body's spirit force. They transform the energy of your soul. You try to equip the second artifact, it interferes with the energy transformations of the first artifact, rendering both useless. Not to mention the nausea. Anyways, now he's talking about the guild, how it's all founded by Loden mages, who assimilated in the Jadoran society. So, really interesting lore here. None of it's necessarily needed to understand, but it's kind of just fleshes out the world. His grandfather was one of the founders of the guild. And he got screwed up. He was guarding a reliquary. And reliquaries basically solve the problem of only being able to equip the one artifact. A reliquary can hold 3. Actually, we were brainstorming reliquaries. Originally, they were just called grand artifacts. It was, you got the grand artifact to fuse the other artifacts. And, I just knew that that didn't make sense. Like, even in the chat, we were trying to talk about this stuff. It didn't work, so we needed a name for the big artifact. And so Tim suggested reliquary, which I think he just looked up a word, a thesaurus. Yeah. Yeah, no one can do magic in lore. Except for Azrael. Okay, he's basically giving a wolf fetch quest. He's gonna give him a card to get into the guild and tell him basically, go get the Knight's Mane. It's one of the reliquaries I hid in the library. So I got the member card, and now I'm gonna be led into the guild. It was nice. The guild is pretty cool. And if you haven't paid the $4 to get the DLC, I would highly recommend it. And this guy basically is going to give you a little bit of explanation for how the guild works. He's talking about how you get in and out. Well, Final Boss Blues, you can get the DLC, and there's a lot of ways to play it. A lot of the DLC adds a lot of extra content at the end of the game, but it also adds a New Game Plus mode, so you could replay the game. So this guy's basically talking about, you know, you can use the save point and the innkeepers to get to the guild. Basically, there was an issue where if you went to the guild and then left, you could create like issues with where your airship was and get soft locked from the game. So when you teleport in, yeah, the guy in the end, I think you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's a Kickstarter bagger. So like when you teleport in, you can't leave. But if you enter from the front, the teleport is disabled. I think you're talking about this guy. I might have to, in a few minutes, just restart. This guy right here is actually a cameo from Luke's game, The Way. And the reason we added him in the game is because of Luke is like got this underground cult following for The Way. It's crazy. I think they probably kickstarted 50% of our Kickstarter. And I remember one guy said, if you put a Trazian cameo in the game, I'll donate. And so one day on Slack, Luke said, hey, would you guys care if I put a cameo? I said, I don't care. And so Tim made a little graphic of it because Tim's a big fan of The Way. I actually never played it, but the guy donated $50. Hey, you'll do anything to get that money, trust me. Oh, this is totally like NPC irony. During the war, Loden mages based their operations out of a huge tower to the east. People who go there often never come back. Basically telling you you're going to go there. There's something. There's a great reverse design series that my friend Patrick Hallman does, and he talks about PCs. And that's one of the categories. I can't remember if it's called direction or irony, something like that. Basically, it's telling you that you're at one point you're going to go to that tower. Alright, now we're in the guild. And these are just all random NPCs. This is where you're going to be teleporting in and out if you use that. This guy's kind of funny, Jakesy. He's got changing dialogue, depending on when you talk to him. My dream is to create a fruity beer that doesn't scream, girly drink. Never mind that, show me this talking beer. Love killing. It's kind of an idiot. Let's go... Hold on a second. So it's a little secret. That's where you get your first reliquary. Knight's Mane. Awesome. Actually, really good. Gives you plus 20. So all these books have different things. So this guy talks about this King Simeon. And says you can challenge him, only appears when a mighty foe presents themselves. You don't look very mighty. Basically, the trigger to unlock King Simeon is being level 30, and you can unlock him on this island later in the game. And when you're level 30 or above, she'll tell you. Yeah, Dorothy, it's a little tricky. And all these basically are hints of where different artifacts are. Luke wrote this really interesting story that can be read in any order. I'm not going to read these, but if you can try to put these story in any order you want. And it talks about the Wraith War and 2 different characters. It's very interesting, actually. The badge. Alright, let's go to the forge now. So, of course, you got to have a currency to spend on your reliquary. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Okay, I got 1 asset, so I can spend it on this. I'm gonna go ahead and You know what, actually? I remove the glow. Crap. I can't do that, because I only have one essence. Right. I'm gonna go ahead and just... Oh, I don't have enough money. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, I'll do it later. So if you were to, like, download the DLC at the end game. Later in the game, as you play through certain dungeons, you'll get essences at these certain key story moments. But say you skip that and you load the DLC at the end game. This guy right here is basically going to give you the essences you missed. So it's sort of a way to work it out. It's possible to get 12 essences and 4 reliquaries, and I will be showing you that. Here's more dev cameos. This is Ty's Tomes, so this is Ty Darren. This is Tim. Buy a Mega Elixir for $100,000. Buy all the items here. Very good later. And this guy sells... Oh yeah, pretty good stuff. Right now you're a little priced out, but later on in the game, no money, that's worse than being broke. It's true. And Luke's lockets. Luke are stored right here. Very expensive, so you're going to be coming to the guild throughout the game, the DLC. My favorite is the Life Force. Gives you an extra 20% HP plus 20% regen. Alright. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do the battle arena and show you guys what's up. Like the Arena Master. Tim made some fun poses that I got to add in, and Luke wrote a really funny script. This guy's basically Rodney Dangerfield. Got more prizes than a slime as mothers. What is that? That's awesome. He's basically going to explain how this works. So this book right here will give you a little lowdown on the tiers. All the tiers are basically going to be a gauntlet of 5 battles, and each comes with a different handicap. The first one I think is neutral. I could probably do this. See what happens. Wish me luck. This is the new music I wrote for the DLC. Okay. Please don't stop. It's okay. So basically the AI is telling them to hit the guy who's stuck before they all will and hers. Okay, good. I think I could probably just do that. Okay, great. Next. Welcome, Square Zach. By the way, if you guys want any information, just do !SOA or !Marathon. I'll be streaming this all week, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Celebration of our 1-year anniversary and our 50% sale. Do !SOA and it'll tell you about the actual stuff. I need 2 monitors, so since I don't have it, I'm just gonna do it. Okay, here we go. Let's do... You have to use one. So 2 monitors. Yeah. Yeah, this is really good for the New Game Plus, which I recently, in the latest patch, buffed it a little bit. It was a little too easy. It's probably still... I don't know, it might be on the edge of where it needs to be, but... When I balanced this game, it was really easy because there's a set amount of battles. I can really route the XP. I can really balance a lot of battles based on, you know, the skills you have, etc. But the New Game Plus is tough because there's all these reliquaries. It's like, some people are going to play the New Game Plus just beating the main campaign. Some are going to do all the side quests. So, like, I didn't have, like, a good baseline to balance around. So I opted to be a little bit on the easy side. But once you get towards maybe Magma Sanctum and beyond, I'd say New Game Plus becomes quite difficult. Because basically New Game Plus works in our way where you start it back at level 1, but you keep all the items you acquired throughout your playthrough, and all the monsters get like a boost to their attributes. hopefully I survive this round when I heal up. Tricky thing about these battle arenas is that I have to do 5 battles in a row and I can't go to the menu between each, so I can't save or heal. Player will one-hit shot the middle guy, and a suplex will nearly kill a wolf. So I should be able to kill 2 guys this round. This will nearly kill him. Or fully kill him. That works too. Oh, I didn't kill him. Mistake. Okay, let's just go ahead. Oh, nice, Azzy. Nice. Alright, we got a final boss. We already fought this guy, didn't we? This is quite difficult. Chi-Wave. Please stop. Oh. Okay, that's fine. We're at least gonna kill the skeleton guy, because Chi-Wave will one-shot him. Nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and suplex this guy. Nice. They give me 1 revive for this dude. What's up, Square Zach? Thanks for joining us, by the way. Have you played this game before? Have you bought it? Let's go grenade. Yeah, because Keith's in the chat, I'm probably going to die. I never die in this game unless I'm on the stream and Keith's watching. This will put him in desperation. Oh yeah, I'm mistaken. Alright, I'm gonna YOLO it, guys. I got him. This cleave should... No, this won't do it, but it'll make it real close. Rally that... Oh no, where... No way I'm gonna win tier 2. So, you know, this battle arena was definitely designed to be played throughout the story. Something we had considered was doing a scaling level thing, so no matter what level you played them at, they were at your level. It would involve so much testing and application. Well, I can do tier 2, but it's gonna kick my ass, and so I'm gonna go. Actually, I have to. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go use the restroom. Alright. There we go. Alright, so Battle 2 Arena down. Number 1. Yeah, if you guys got any questions, ask me or Tim. Tim's our art guy. So that's a good little preview of the guild. The DLC was originally, well, it was like a Kickstarter backer thing. Let me make sure my mic's on. Good. Always paranoid that I forget to do it. So it was like we had this like whole tier about Backers Guild and stuff. Square Zach, man, this would be a good time to get it because we're 50% off until Friday, I believe. So you can get the game and DLC for like $9. I think, yeah, you should definitely get it. Probably won't be on sale for a good while after that. Okay. Sorry, I got a little cough drop, so. Okay, so, back to the Kickstarter, we had that little Backers Guild incentive that we met, so then we decided to turn it into DLC and expanded it greatly. This is kind of the sketchy part of town, and so a lot of the Kickstarter backers that got sprites we put here sort of immersion breaking, and we've gotten some knocks on reviews about it, but this guy, Wolfic Rules, we did the best we could with him. Remember how I said we'd place them in ways so that they would only face one direction? This guy really worked hard on his, Yeah, there is no earth moves. Guess we kind of dropped the ball on that. I'm trying to think what enemies would be weak to earth. Okay. Anyway, this guy can only face left because he only has a left facing sprite. I think this is something. Oh no, it's this. Poor guys. Or I think that's another wake. Yeah. Make sure to explore everything. So far I have quite a bit of these juices. You get 40 of them, you get an achievement, and there's like maybe 50 in the game, and 44 of them are not missable, so if you, for some reason, skip it over, you can come back and get it later. I think this is one. Maybe this one. This is another person that's stuck in one place, because she only has a forward-facing animation. I think I might have actually made these inners. This might have been the only maps I made. This is another cameo of Ty. Wait, actually, most people don't know is that he has random generating dialogue. So every time you talk to him, he'll say something different. I definitely have mixed feelings about the NPC cameos, or the Kickstarter ones, but we're very grateful for the fans that helped us kickstart this game, which basically gave us, zero bottom line once we released. Helped fund pretty much all of the development of this game. So, as you talk to these NPCs, there's a lot of lore about the Wraith War, how Jadora won, how magic's this dangerous, illegal thing, etc. So when you play this game, it's worth it to spend the time. Okay, this is brilliant. I love how Luke did this. So as you talk to all these random Kickstarter backer NPCs, which are very immersion breaking, Luke somehow sort of makes it work with the lore. Why are there so many crazy people in Jadora? Maybe some of them went mad trying to climb that tower to the east. A little hint that maybe they'll go to that tower. Oh, by the way, if someone can figure out how to get this chest, I will send you a Wraithling plushie, like, tomorrow. I'll make one instant. If you get that chest right there, figure out how to do it. No one's figured it out. I will send you a Wraithling plushie. And in fact, I'll sweeten the deal. You get that treasure chest, I'll send you a Wraithling plushie and 3 of my Big Band CDs and a poster. I'll make a poster of Shadows of Adam and send it to you tomorrow. You can figure out how to get that. So, from the way Luke made all these NPCs work is they put them in jail. And as you see, more creative uses of boxes. So they can only face one way. These guys make me laugh. So, this guy has like a really long dialogue that I'm not going to talk to him. Here's Rydia. Done everything. One more thing I want to collect. So, here's a nice little thing you want to get for the upcoming boss. The lid badge. And actually, I'm going to put this on Azzy because it's going to be most useful. Actually, a book in the library of the guild that tells you a little hint about the lid badge. Where you can find it. So this guy's talking about why magic is evil. It's so interesting. It's that tricky balance of like making NPCs flesh out the world and develop the lore, but not withholding any essential information you need to know for the plot with that. But you want to reward people for talking to them. But anyway. It's a tricky balance. He talks about stars and the real. Actually, knowing the plot, these NPCs like really drill home the themes of our game. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and continue the quest. Oh, I gotta talk to that shady guy, don't I? So let's see what happens. Okay, let's go talk to the shady guy. So at this point in the plot, we're trying to find Talon, who's our friend from Adam who got left. He knows a little bit about magic. We found that magic book about an hour and a half ago. So we went to the Misty Woods, we're trying to find Talon. Talking to this shady guy. He seems to know something about it. So, I know the trends in modern games now is to like do a lot of the expression of characters in face sets. And face sets will take up like literally half the screen. I've kind of mixed feelings about that. People seem to like that. But a lot of what we did, a lot of fun sprite animations out of like Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy V, which I just love. A lot of the expression of the characters is through that. Like right, coming up. Oh, Curtis have an Earthman. That could be cool. Curtis is the chakra guy. Yeah, there's always something to learn for the next game, you know what I mean? Little things that could have been maybe executed better, having more elemental balance, but for the most part, I think we did a pretty good job. I think probably one of the reasons we didn't have an Earth spell is honestly because we really tried to make every spell and skill unique, so you didn't learn like 4 of the same types of spells, or like Fire 1, Fire 2, Fire 3. So for instance, all of Azzy's spells do things a little different. And I think if we had had an Earth spell, we would have had to figure out something different for it. Maybe it could have been like random hits or something. Just something, you know. Because otherwise you already have Flare and you already have Blizzard. We're gonna get our first scene with Malville. Oh, you know about it, Kellen. They've been talking about it. This theme song was really fun to write. One of the things about working with Luke is he's got such a strong vision for his characters, and he's also a musician himself, I believe. So when I was writing this music for Malville, I would be sending him drafts. He'd be sending me like, we wouldn't really even be talking about music. We'd just talk about character and expression. That's what I want in character. And I got this draft, and it was pretty close to what you hear now. And then he actually sent me back a few musical ideas to help expand on it. Little like hits of dissonance, just to suggest that Malville's just a little bit crazy. So when it loops back, you'll hear at the beginning there's these like little stabs that have like little half steps, and they're just like little hints that Malville might be off this rock. So Malville basically got passed off to be the king because he was unstable. So now he's basically just doing menial tasks like rounding up gamblers, stupid shit. And Kellen can't keep his mouth shut. Was getting pretty pissed. Of the poses. Now, Azrael has his power magic, but sort of corrupts you a little bit because the magic does come from the Wraith World. So she has moments where she just has outbursts of attacking. And now they're gonna make their daring escape. But Malville's seen this, and he's very intrigued. Alright. Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to restart something just really quick. One second. Alright. There we go. Okay, we good? Should be all up and running. Perfect. Alright. Something's wrong with my computer. If I play for a long time, like I'll start getting like a little bit of a lag or something. I noticed that at the conference too. But my laptop works fine. It's very strange. This is a favorite bridge you can't go over here. These guys kind of make a NPC irony joke. This bridge is a mess. Why? You could scale the wind tower quicker than you could get the Borge. Okay. So, coming up is first time fighting these two guys. This is actually the only scene in the game I wrote. This song I actually wrote on tour. I remember being in Canada. We had like a 16-hour drive cross country, and I wrote this on the bus. Zack and Nick are a very Saturday morning cartoon. They get compared a lot to like Skull and Bat, Skull and Crush, or whatever they're called, Power Rangers, or like Team Rocket, or Zorn and Thorn from Final Fantasy IX, or Salt and Pepper from Chrono Cross. Kind of that kind of character. Basically, they've been sitting here to stop them from Malvo. They needed a gig, and they got one. And they had this little catchphrase, which I sort of skipped over. Whoops. But that seems really fun. It's a lot of fun animations. And this music is actually another song I wrote when I was 16. That I actually finished. I reworked it about a week before game release because I thought Zack and Nick fight them so many times in the game they need their own music. Okay, so there's I'm trying to think. I can't remember what they're weak to. I think Nick is weak to lightning. If you play this right, you can kill them really fast. Oh, how do you miss a suplex? Come on, Curtis. Alright. We're good shape. This will probably kill him. Or yeah, this will kill him right here. It goes down easy, if you know what to do. Watching the speedrunner play this level is really good. So this guy's gonna be weak to fire. So they all have like a desperation move. When the other guy dies, they get their desperation move. In this first one, he just gets like a attack up. Not a big deal. Not too worried about it. If Zack dies, then Nick gets a blur move, I believe. And he missed, like I showed. This battle's going swimmingly. Ah, there we go. Ugh. That battle actually could be quite challenging. I've seen a lot of people struggle with that battle, but you gotta learn their weaknesses. So these guys, when they talk in unison, they become Zack and Nick. You guys ever read Lord of the Flies? There's these characters called Sam and Eric. I thought that was kind of clever, so I came up with the concept of Zack and Nick. Which actually wasn't an old RPG Maker game, and we ported it to this. Swap bombs. Okay. Shuriken. Alright. So I can go to the guild from any save point now. So I teleport in here. But I can't leave. Because there were some issues with that. Anyway, so this guy would just take me back. So as you play the story, as you do different save points, and you can go back and fight the battle arena or whatever. Okay. Alright. The Wind Tower. Puzzles get a little bit more complex. I like this dungeon a lot. So the Wind Tower is this abandoned tower from the Wraith War. Loden Empire kind of used it as a station, and it used the Wind Crystal to keep magical power flowing to them. So there's a lot of magical type puzzles. And like I said, with every gameplay design choice, we always try to do show, not tell. So we're going to show this little scene where Azzy's going to reveal one of the main elements of our dungeon. Basically a simple lock and key sort of thing, but we themed it. That's a little trick I learned working at Disneyland, where everything's about theming. Everything at its core is very simple, but with theming it makes the world come alive. So you'd walk in the future world and suddenly the trash cans would be futuristic. You walk in the Western world, everything's like made of straw, etc. Okay. Time to get this guy. So, really knowing your way around this, there we go, Shriek. You fixed it, Tim. These guys can be tough, but I know all the weaknesses. Wonder how to get up there. Tower guards. Going to go down like little bitches, the Chi wave. So any sort of like undead, this ghost type creature is going to be harmed by chakra. Very effective. It's chakra. Let's go down. So, this is a fancy staircase. Like I said, theming is important, right? It's much more fun to get blasted up. So we're gonna find this crystal. We've already been shown the scene where we saw this crystal, so this is going to... I gotta find it. One of the things I'm particularly proud of in this game is our dungeon design. I think Luke did a fabulous job. And actually, Tim might have done this dungeon, if I recall correctly. Maybe Tim can chime in. We talked more about how, like, the qualitative design choices with the monsters, so... These Steelhawks have, like, really high, physical defense, so hitting them is going to be hard. I'm only going to do like 2 damage. Oh, they got pretty hard too. Wow. But they'll go down easy with a shield. Ooh, nice dodge, Curtis. And didn't fix that hole. Alright, this is another example of a qualitative change. So this is the first ghost type enemy you're fighting in. So maybe you're just mashing attack at this point. Oh, you can't hurt him. Yikes, gotta get rid of him fast. Well, what if I try that? I'll cleave him, right? That'll work. Nope. Gotta hit him with magic or chakra. Chakra is basically, like I mentioned, your psychic. Ooh, nice, I got... I might look over there and say, that looks good. Oh, oops. So, I don't think I can get over there just yet. I want this treasure. Oh, and this is also not only qualitatively different, but lore is significant. This is the first dungeon where you start seeing monsters that can use magic. In lore, the only person you've seen use magic at this point is Azrael, and it's like a really big plot point. With the Dodora, they talked about, you know, foul magic. It's mystical forms. No one can use it because of the great world. These guys can, so I'm just gonna attack. Hopefully they send a spell at me, or I could just kill him. I can crit every single time. Wow, that was really lucky. The dungeon design and the monster progression I'm particularly happy with. There's a few wrinkles here and there, but they've been smoothened a lot through the patches. I'm really proud of what they really did. Some kudos to Tim and Luke. They had great work on that. G-Wave is going to be kind of my go-to. So this was a suggestion of mine, which I got from Mario 64, where you can kind of see where you need to go, but you can't get there because there's a barrier. It reminded me as a kid playing Daisy Maze Cave and being that star that was behind like a cage, and for weeks I couldn't figure it out. It was like just there. I was always fascinated by that concept of game design, like showing you what you want, but not being able to get it. It's like, that was a really intriguing design decision. Alright. Scale needs 2 ghosts? Yeah, okay. No, that Kellen's basically useless. I'm gonna have a parry. Take these guys out with 1 flare, or a Chi-Wave will work. Oh, she got off first. Okay, well there we go. Ooh, nice. And we get this, which you would see later, but I didn't. Or see, you could see it from there, and then wonder. Alright. Star Rod. Let's try that. Ooh, counter. Ooh, ouch. Ouch. Well, like I mentioned, where forward presence is really important. A lot of the monsters are designed in a way where they hit really hard. So if you stall, they're gonna kill you. But actually, if you want to use Swiss lose just to spam attack. Having forward presence is important. because of the way our AP system works, where you're constantly getting AP back. Oh, this guy dodging also. What's up with that? It's sort of a system that encourages you to use your skills. You get 5 AP back when you kill an enemy, 15 AP back when you finish a turn, or 30. So, okay. It's high ether. Pretty good. First high ether in the thing. Okay. This is secret number 2. Let's go get this guy. This guy's pretty scary. I got it. This is intimidating, but all these guys are gonna go down in one chi wave. They're all talking. Alright. Got my elixir. We're down. And I got these. Make sure you grab them before you go down, because one more step, yeah. We have a few exceptions to our rule with the purple chest. This is one you can't see. Crystal Knights. That's, I'm not gonna save that for a sec. And chakra. It has the chakra element on it, so I can use that to one-shot ghosts and stuff. I'm not sure if it works on ghosts. It might not work. It's okay. But I know it'll work on skeleton. Actually, this will be nice because I actually don't have all the achievements on Steam. What I am missing is Treasure Hunter, where you get all the purple gems. I think I know all of them. So, if I'd gone here earlier, most people, they don't know the secret, so they go past it and they see that and they're like, how do I get there? I want to get that. So, it's really true. Let's see. I think Curtis should be able to win. Is actually quite short what you're doing, but I think it's every RPG kind of has that that big first dungeon, if you know what I mean, and this is kind of big. This is our big first dungeon, and I'm really happy with it. Okay, it starts introducing slowly some puzzle elements that you'll see later in the game. Ooh. You gotta be careful with the AP. I think I should be able to take it. RPG. Oh, he hit me with magic. Thanks. Thanks. Okay. Cheer up. I mean, you leave them for a while, they'll start doing some serious damage. Lit Rune. Pretty good item. It's going to give me a 50% to immunity to lightning. 100%. Yeah, so you might notice I have the Lit Badge, which gives me 100% immunity to thunder, and then the Lit Rune. So you might be guessing that there might be a lightning boss coming soon. A little bit, that's okay. Just like the Misty Woods, when you hit that like 60-70% mark through the dungeon, you get a little scene. A little character development, a little lore. Tries to pace it out. I feel like these are nice breathers. What's with this place? Just more lore, more character development. Ezreal gets very uncomfortable around magic because it makes her feel dark and angsty. freebie items just to sort of amp up. This is, in my opinion, this is like a... I don't know, you guys tell me if this comes off this way, but when I add this stuff like that, when I play games that do stuff like that, it sort of makes me get this anticipation. Like, oh, it's ramping up to something, right? Just a subtle way to sort of ramp up. Gosh darn, I'm low on AP and stuff. Okay. Ooh, I don't have any. Oh wow, this is bad. Ooh. I think I should be good. One cheat rate and I got it. I guess Talon gets the first turn until Talon starts going. Thanks. Whew. Grenade, I think. First 4 guys. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh no. Please don't flare me. Oh! That Thunder Badge. This is why you gotta be careful. I've been kind of stingy with my ethers. I shouldn't be, because, as you can see, you need to take them out quickly. Kill him. Alright, good. And a save point. You can save anywhere, but he's basically just giving you... I could go to the guild right now and do the side quest. Or the next battle arena theater, but I think I'm gonna... Okay. Let's do you. Good work. Yeah, those wizard dudes are sort of glass cannons. They're gonna go down like bitches, yeah, but if they get a couple hits on you, it's gonna hurt. That AoE flare, doing 50 damage is no joke. Alright, and that's every monster in the Wind Tower. I am at level 11. You fight just the bare minimum battles, you're going to learn this Rejuvenate spell. Allotted the XP to do that. Because in this next battle, well, you'll see. This next battle is kind of tricky. This is actually one of our better designed boss battles, I think. There's a nice climactic thing. Kind of reminiscent of Magus' castle. So Talon's been fascinated with magic himself. You'll learn a little bit more about why that is later. Or as Gaming Navi calls him, Scrooge McTalon. How fast he's gonna... So the AI works, so every 4 or 5 rounds, something like that, he's gonna cast Absolute Immunity, where it's gonna be weak to he's gonna be immune to any damage. Except like grenades and stuff. If I am able to inflict poison. So I'm going to... Let's do... I'll carry this. She'll throw a shuriken. I'll meditate. Let's hope I get off this poison shiv. Alright, so now he's gonna go to immunity. It's okay, because I'm gonna do poison damage. Shuriken's gonna do damage too. Perfect. Alright. I think it goes away. This, I'm gonna blur myself, because Talon is very vulnerable to dying to this next move. Yeah, I've been buffing Curtis a lot, as you can see. Nice! Okay, that's the best case scenario right there. Kaz just got the lightning badge. So after a couple rallies, I should have threw a spinach on him. I did 460 damage. It's about twice as much damage as I do now. Let's keep it covered. Let's keep it. So spinach. Let's do this. Let's do that. Sorry, let's do this. We're gonna throw a spinach. Suplex. Oh crap. Nice. Okay. It's not amazing. Do a rejuve. You'll do a suplex and you do a oh nice. I like tactics. I think, might have been Tim who said that too when I showed him this Steve. I think he's about to go to immunity. Yeah. So, at this point, all I want to do is just kind of use his turn to get back AP. Alright, so now he's gonna do his stupid lightning move next round. So let's see how much damage I can do with suplex. Alright, let's see what this does. I'm gonna say 520. 711. See, Eric? That's why you're spinach. Oh! Those gains. Ugh. Another Orazio sighting. Music should probably not be playing right here, but oh well. Or a fade or something, I don't know. Yeah, when we were at MagFest, I had like a exhibition save, so people just wanted to watch me play. I was at level 50, and I would just like spin 2 rounds, like everyone throwing spinaches and double up rallying Curtis, and then I would do double up suplex on the slime train, and just do insane damage. So basically they meet Talon, and Talon's kind of a jerk. Orazio gives them this clue to find this guard. They got the Wind Shard and an Essence, which we can use to go to the guild. So actually I'm going to do that right now. Sorry, I don't do dialogue reading. Okay, let's go to the guild. Remember, if anyone out there is watching, it's like thinking, man, I gotta pick up this game. This game looks sweet. 50% sale right now. In fact, I'm gonna be shameless. Look, see my phone? I'm gonna type it in the chat right now. There you go. Boom. Go to that link, and your life will be complete. Okay, so Talon comes, and he's pretty cool. Now I'm going to do this stuff. Let's see. 2 essences. I'm just gonna do that one for now. Because I think I want to save it for the duplicator later. I'm gonna make Kellen into a freaking killing machine. It's gonna be amazing. Now that Azzy's done with that, she can do that. Okay, we're at level 12. We got Talon in the team. Let's go take on the battle arena and do tier 2. See if we can hit. Okay. Oh, some nice prizes too. Apple juice, elixir, high ether. Okay. Speaking of Final Fantasy Tactics, I feel like this music kind of sounds Tactics-esque. I already know how to handle these guys, so let's do that. I'll show you pick a card. Pick a card's interesting. He's got 4 outcomes: Fire, Ice, Lightning, Wraith. And he gets the Wraith card, which is the strongest one, as you can tell. Very good card pick. It's the rarest card pulled. His Ice card is the weakest, though we did just give it a buff, so it's a little stronger now, and it has a higher chance of inflicting freeze than it did in the last patch. Fire is just like kind of a reliable damage dealer, and it has a very good burn chance. So, like, you know, 100 each, not terrible. Lightning card's really nice. Single target, big damage. Fire, nice. So 3 of the 4 people got burned. It's kind of a reliable way to inflict burn. Chi Wave is interesting because it's more useful in the early game, I feel like, and then later on it becomes a little less useful. Let's do that. These Bloodsucker guys, these guys are in the swamp, wow. Oh, lightning! Boom! Look at that damage. Give her an apple. Nice damage, okay. I got Spirit Punch already. I'm kinda over leveled right now. Fought every battle. Lightning! Not fighters. Thanks. Oh, yeah, Spirit Punch. Nice. Okay. That... Oh, we don't have it. Crap. I can't do any physical damage to these guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and meditate and bluff. Have... Oh, shit. Ouch. So in this tier, the enemies are just gonna hit harder. Let's do that. And you're gonna revive. That's the handicap in this, is that... Oh my gosh. Yikes. Okay, can't bring her back to life. I don't have any more revives. Alright, I got 2 more battles to do without Azrael. This is gonna be really quite tough. But I think I can do it. Oh wait, that was it! I won! That's the 5th battle. Okay, never mind. Otherwise, this place would be like a zoo without monkeys. I see. You gotta have monkeys. You gotta. Love the finger wave. Okay. Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay, I got some apple juices, too. Let's save those. Oh, what do you think, guys? Should I try the 3rd tier? It's level 14. Ooh. Huh. I'm gonna get my ass kicked if I try this. I'm gonna try it. Let's see if I can win. See if I can win. So I forgot to mention, besides the handicaps and the 5 battles without saving, they also give you a prescribed inventory. Okay. I just thought of something, Tim. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, Life Force would be great right now. These rules are kind of big. I'm probably not going to be able to win this, but we'll see. So, more story time. So, another thing that we cut in our game pretty early on was in the earlier draft, the action items, and then we had this thing called dojos, which was going to be like sort of like, I don't know exactly how to describe it. Sort of like a place where you would like do like a gauntlet of battles, and then you would like learn a sort of like a special ability. We ended up cutting that. We had a lot of cool ideas for it too, like you do like groups of 2, like Patsy and Talon. Oh, there's no way I can win. Ooh. We cut that. That was one of the things we cut. But then we sort of kind of reimagined it for this battle arena slightly. When you first start a project, like I mentioned, there's no shortage of ideas. But part of being the producer, I sort of fell into that role. It's like finding out which ideas fit the vision of the game, which kind of don't add or maybe aren't worth the return on investment. That's another big consideration, is that some things just aren't worth the return. It's going to cost a lot of money, a lot of time, and you're not getting much for it. Now, arguably, the dojo could have been something really cool. It could have been placed for cool character development, teach other skill or something. It just ended up getting cut. Ooh, I might actually win this. This is insane. Are you kidding me? I think this is the last battle. It's like 5 of them, isn't it? Oh, okay. Okay, Alright. Come on, Curtis. Oh! He's dead. Damn it. You should. I didn't feel that bad, now I do. You should. I love that guy. I'm kind of skipping through the text, but he's pretty funny. When you lose, he digs in on you pretty hard. Okay. Well, I'll come back to this later. I'll probably come back when I'm in Brashear or something. That's a pretty tough one. Maybe after Borges'. Okay, so basically the party decides we need to get a ship to get to the next continent where the Water Garden is. And the only place where there is a ship is Brashear. Head down here. Bridge is fixed now. We haven't heard from Malvo in a while, so... So Brashear is actually currently under occupation from Jadora because Malvo is looking for Azrael, which he calls Sparkles. Plus you bleed. Yeah, he's not letting anything sail out because he's trying to keep. Now that I'm reading that line, it really reminds me of the guards at the camp in FF6 when they're talking about how General Leo is so much better than Kefka. So Malvo is just an asshole. He's insulting how bad it smells and making them kiss his ass. Magic girl would sparkle, wouldn't she? Or she. Oh, the cape. had fun integrating these poses into dialogue. Usually what would happen was like me or Luke would just request a few random requests for sprite poses, and then Tim would make us several of them, and I would go through and just sort of place them in the scene when it made sense. I think I can probably finish up tonight by getting through this town. What happens if you do? It's too dark. It's too dark. Can't go here because there's, you know, there's just guards there. Insane. One day a speedrunner will figure out how to clip in there, but right now there's not. Okay. This scene was like really hard to do. Ridiculous as that looks, that took me like 3 hours to do that. It was ridiculous. So they're gonna sneak around, and this is like a... I actually really like this part of the game. At this point you've done dungeon, a little bit of story, dungeon, a little bit of story. It's the first time where you're not really doing a dungeon with battles. And it's gonna be a lot of like non-combat game. But yes, do I want a tutorial? Yeah, I'll take the tutorial. And this part is all Josh. Everything in this is Josh. It's very campy, very snarky. Well. The first step of curing clumpy feet is admitting to a problem. Alan does not like Kellen, so he's teasing him about how he's so clumpy-footed and sneaky. Anyway. No, this guy isn't paying. That's easy. Okay, now this one I just go around. Easy. Now the last one, I just... That's it. Speedrunners, the hardest thing about speedrunning is making sure you don't select the option to go to perhaps good things will happen if we don't get caught. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Okay, I'll do my best not to get caught. NPCs in this town are really fun too. They're all talking shit about your door. How they've set up all these back entrances, so like this guy suggests, you know, the shop is well connected. Back door. Yo, he's not moving. Go back here. Start my passageway through town. Underground passageways connect the whole town. Huh? So they're down to the rebels. So let's see. On a potion. Let's see if that's enough. If you guys are watching, here's a little secret. Game has all those like old school like secret goodies. I love it. It's so fun. Alright, there's a few battles in here, but nothing too bad. It's a little bit of a difficulty spike here because now we have 4 characters. So this is kind of your chance to kind of get... Oh, nice. Like, getting a chance to filling out talent. The next real big difficulty spike, in my opinion, is the swamp. This is sort of like a presser on how to use talent, getting used to him. So another thief guy, you want to make sure you don't attack him, because if you attack him, you'll probably miss. Or not. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he's gonna counter. Let's see. You see a lot of that. Let's just do it. Let's do it. Pick a card. Pick a card. Pick a card. Let's get anything but ice. Okay. One of these. So when I hid these juices, I tried to. Oh, if there's a group of boxes, try to do the one box that stands out. So this one's like diagonal, so I put it there. Okay. Excuse me. Here's another fun little scene where me and Luke wrote this sequence together, so we are the guards. And our stories is that we're kind of broker than a bum with a hole in his cup. We're kind of slacking. We're soldiers, we're slacking. We want to play cards. Drink rum. But the captain is pissed. Sir, yes, sir, sir. He better get back to work. There's boxes, and they aren't gonna move themselves. Alright. Now the stealth section of the game. Well, I really want to make sure I don't get hit. I'm gonna take my time. This is a little book, gives a little hint. Talks about how you can't hit shadow enemies. I really love the map design for this. I think Luke did such a stellar job. I actually did the first version of this whole area, and it was just horrible. I'm gonna save right here because I really don't want. Also, that's the way. It's kind of a weird quirk in our game. Is if you go in and out the menu, they reset their position. I don't know why it does that, but I saw the speedrunner use that trick to help them. Okay. So juice over here, but I'm not gonna get it because it's not worth it. Oh no, are you kidding? Okay, I have to restart, sorry guys. I have to restart. Okay. Alright, come on, Tyler. No way to get past that whole thing in one stretch. Save here. This one's a little tough. Gotta go right here. Save. Alright. But it's straight sweet rum. You're an artist of song and sword, not a prison camp. They're basically just bitching about how they have to do work and they want to not be soldiers. They're talking about these crates. And every time they reorder their drinks, it gets a little bit more absurd. So first they start with a single, then a double, now they're at triple. So more lore. Like, the NPCs really do a wonderful job of telling the lore of the game. Juice. Okay. Got a little cutscene. So they're gonna hide in the boxes. And now the soldiers who have had quite a few rums are going to never mind, I think this is not gonna work. What are you talking about, Tim? By the way, if anyone's on the Twitterverse, if you want to shoot a tweet into the air, about 30 more minutes left of the stream. It'd be nice to finish strong, so people want to come check it out. Alright. Okay. Alright, so that guys, they took us to the save, because I want to get this item right here. Okay. That guy doesn't move. That guy does. Shuriken is gonna be nice when I fight them all. Hey, look, it's Azzy, and hey, someone added sparkles. It's fun. There's a chest down here you're not going to be able to get, but remember this for later. Yeah, keep pulling that lightning card. Alright. So remember I had mentioned that, Battlrun. I mentioned that Tim had added these treasures in these boxes, and I was originally kind of against it because nowhere else in the game did we have treasures in boxes. But now that we added those juices, it's a lot more in theme with the game. Okay, so these guys are a little tricky because they're not going to be damaged by physicals. And since it's something that was cut, those shadow guys used to do this move called Soul Bond, which they stole your soul, and if you attacked him and did damage to the person's soul, the only way you could damage is by healing yourself. It was an interesting idea, but it had some issues, like execution-wise, and it was causing some bugs too, so we ended up removing that very close to release. Malville does do it later, because it's a variation of Soul Bond. Lot of ice. If you really take your time, you'll be stocked with some great items. Man, I got a lot of items. Whew. He's jealous. See, there's the one little box sticking up. Alright. Need to get through. Feel free to push into the prison. Try to have as much non-battle gameplay as possible, but just to sort of spice it up. Alright. So a lot of games like the Zeboy games and Unreal JRPGs that are more action-oriented, where they do auto regeneration between battles. I actually really like that idea. It makes each battle kind of a thing on its own. But our game, there is no auto regen outside of battles, so you gotta pay close attention to your AP. Manage it well. You're encouraged to spend it, but in the longer dungeons, you gotta play the long game. It's smart. Almost. Come on, Azzy, hit him. Nice, okay. Alright, let's see. That. And the ice badge. Does exactly what you might think it does. Okay, let's get rid of this guy. Let's go. And let's just have you throw a grenade. This guy is a little bit of a gatekeeper. You gotta figure out how to deal with him. The speedrun gets here pretty underleveled, so he doesn't have Spirit Punch yet, so he deals with him by just buying, I think, 4 grenades and chucks them at him. This is kind of cool. The black market that the town people set up, so they can move goods around without Druidal Growth finding out. And I'm going to... stuff. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Get all the items, you can have a full set for birds and not have to. Be careful when you're selling stuff. I've seen Doughwolf accidentally sell like needed items before in speedruns. If I haven't mentioned, RPG Limit Break, the 13th and 19th. The schedule's not out yet, but I could maybe try that guild again. There's one chest up here that's quite difficult to get. Yeah! Okay. Spanish, perfect. There's one more down here, I think. So if you want to explore and you want to take your time, you will be rewarded, and I think that's a big tenet of our game, is exploration and taking your time and really getting everything. And that's the whole sequence. That's the whole sequence. So now we're gonna do a little boss battle, and I think after the boss battle, I might go back to the guild, and then set up a few things, and then call it a night. Got about 23 minutes left. So. This is a JRPG, so of course, pirates. Going back all the way to the original Final Fantasy, there were pirates. Final Fantasy V has great pirates, and I'm sure there are pirates in other games, just can't think of it much. Okay, let me think about my strategy real fast. So basically my strategy here would just be to try to take them one at a time. And I hope that I get a fire card and then I get off some burns. That would be really nice. And I got 3 burns. Great. Very nice. Thanks, man. Okay. So these guys have a chance of healing, so I'm going to stack a burn and a poison. Talon's a support character, and he does a lot of damage over time kind of stuff. So stacking these stats effects are really nice. If I recall correctly, stats effects, I believe poison does percent of burn HP, and burn does percent of max HP. So obviously poison's going to get weaker as they lose HP, but burn will always do the same amount of damage. Burn is very good to get. Recently in the latest patch, buffed fire card's chance to burn by a little bit. Fire card was never that useful of a move, so we just try to find little levers to make it useful. So now it's kind of a good way to get some passive, which I'm sure Dole will be happy about. Okay, let's do that. Let's go ahead and take this guy out. Yeah, and then let's do poison. I think after this, I'll try to do that guild again. Okay. Oh, great. This is going swimmingly. It's going actually better than I could before. This is actually quite a tricky battle because if you they have a chance to heal, and healing gives them more attack than so you'll see what so he's gonna get 350 HP back. More attack, but less defense. I got and you might notice I got a little thunder sword right there. It'll be useful later. So it'll be so buttons. So Captain Blackrot is like obsessed with cleanliness, so that's kind of the gimmick of him. Cash in on that favor. So we never really go into the story why Curtis, or there's Captain Blackrot owes Curtis a favor. And I sort of like that we don't do that, so it's sort of, you can make your little headcanon, like what Curtis was doing, the pirates back in his past. And my fantasy is to like one day make a prequel of this game that features Curtis as an action RPG, which I think would be super badass. And it has him like sailing with pirates and shit, fucking shit up. But who knows? Sink me scrubbers. Alright. So, important thing is the first tiny hag. This guy. Because I didn't get caught, I'm going to get the duplicator, which lets me attack twice. It's basically the Genji glove. I can't remember which on a second. Let me follow my own rules. This is probably one. This one. Yeah, there we go. There's a feather here, I believe. I forget that one. It's pretty useful, I guess. I think it increases speed by 10. So, like, you could give Azrael Curtis the speed per. Okay, so let's go to the guild. I'm gonna start doing some cool stuff. So, alright. Now, I have the Duplicator, which is going to let me attack twice. Bandana has +5 to attack, and the main already has a built-in 20 attack, so this is going to be on Callan. He's going to get +25 attack, and 2 of them. So he's going to be doing some good damage. It's done. Cool. Let's see if I can beat... what time do we got here? Okay, I got 17 minutes. I'm going to go use the restroom really quick, and then I'm going to try the guild one more time. And then we'll see what happens. Right back. Alright. How's everyone doing? Ah, look at my stream layout. It came out pretty well. What do you think, guys? I have 0 art chops, or stream chops, but with Tim helped me too, I spent a little bit of time working on this stream layout, making it look good. Pretty happy with it. Okay. Alright, so what am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm gonna go try to beat this tier. I'm 1 level under. But I have Talon, and I got the Duplicator. Life Force, 3 max revives. Let's do it. Oh, I get no AP when I beat an enemy. That's right. Lightning card. Oh, he didn't die. Really? Come on, Talon. Okay. Yeah, isn't it crazy? It's 1 year old. I still remember that release day, man. It's freaking crazy. We had like set up like. Please stop hitting Talon. It set up like a bunch of launch day streams. So I think we all spent the whole day watching streams of the game. It was very exciting. It was one of the most exciting days of my life. Took off from work that day. And yeah, it was great. Of course there were issues, there were bugs and stuff, but we got them all worked out. And it was a pretty good reception, I think. Oh, crap. So I get a lightning card. Gonna freeze! Come on, freeze! Okay. guy's such a beast. Not the right level to fight this guy. Okay. What I really need to do is... Let's see. I just need to be at 4. I need to go for... I need to yellow it. You're gonna... I just need to try to kill one guy at a time. Burn! Yes! Oh, come on! Come on! Alright, go away. Oh, I got this. Okay. Let's channel and let's throw you a potion. I want everyone alive for this next round. God damn, dude. Okay, I got this. Ellen's just gonna spam that. You're gonna do that. And then let's just hope for a lightning card. Actually, lightning card would be bad because I think the middle guy's immune to lightning. Okay. Oh, oh, damn. Oh no. Oh, that was. Alright. Urtus is such a beast, though, man. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're in good shape. Let's see. Alright, let's just hope for a good pick a card. Come on, give me a Fire or Wraith. Fire or Wraith would be good. Fire's good. I'll take it. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. We're still in good shape. It's got burn on him. Okay. Let's do that. That will do damage. You can't do anything. Anything but lightning card. Oh, nice! Nice. I did not expect that to kill. I think this is it, guys. If I can win this battle, I win. Oh, shit. Oh. This guy's fucking hard. Guys, I don't know if I can do this. Curtis, where's your AP, dude? Okay, oh. Come on, lightning card. Middle guy. Freeze. Freeze someone. Freeze someone. Yeah, it's pretty much over, guys. Give me a lightning card, come on. Wrong guy, but still. Oh my god. Well, I tried, folks. It's supposed to be challenging. It's written in the history books. This loss is forever. I didn't think it mattered, but now I feel kind of bad. You should. It's right here, man. Anyway, that's the Battle Arena. Very challenging. It's fun. I like it. Came out well. Okay, let's see. So I'm gonna go back. Yeah, so Dio, that was that's kind of like an optional area, and I was under-leveled for that particular gauntlet. I was seeing if I could beat it early, and as you can see, I got my ass handed to me. The Battle Arena is very tough, but it's fun. Okay, let's go ahead and... I got everything I need. I'm gonna go ahead and do the next story scene. I'll stop in Brashear. I almost did it, though. I got to the 5th one. If I could heal between battles, I think I could have totally took that guy. If I was at full health, I could have done it. That was just a tough battle. was a tough battle. But I would have been handsomely rewarded. I liked how this scene came out. I think I did this scene. We're on the quest to keep looking for Arazu. I have a little bit of story. Well, welcome to the chat, Dio. Is that how I'm saying that right? Dio. If you're interested in picking up the game, I'll do the little handy and because it's the best week to get it, because you can get the game and DLC for, I think, for under $9, something like that. Don't forget to get the carrot juice. Part of me wishes we had just made Azzy the main character. It would have been cool to have her as the main character, and I just like controlling her because look at her fun run. Kind of skips a little. It's very childish. You know? That's sort of like a jovial sort of way. I like that. Dio. Thanks. Don't forget that. The health ring. It's good. Increases health by 20. Alright, we're going to get a little bit of flashback from Talon. We haven't really developed Talon as a character yet. We're not really sure what his deal is. So, actually, Dio, that music we were hearing was the music that only plays in the battle arena. But there's, let's see, there's the regular battle music, boss music, there's the epic boss music, and then there's like a specialty boss music for a particular sort of boss that you fight regularly. There's quite a few boss or battle themes. So we're gonna get a little piece of Talon in this flashback. He's kind of joined your team. You know, he has some beef with Kellan. You know, he has some beef with. So this song right here, if you listen, is the same melody as the theme that played when you first met Talon in the end. Except it's slowed down. It's more of a emotional kind of thing. Leitmotif, if you will. Not as many leitmotifs in this game as I would have liked, but there's quite a bit of a list for him. It's basically Talon was a very sickly young man, and it hurt him and his acceptance. Yeah, Dio, don't resist, man. Pick it up. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's gotten great reviews and some really awesome supporters of the game. Talon is sick. Basically, Talon's resolving to kind of improve his life. I'm sorry I'm skipping through the text. I hope you guys don't want me to be reading. Yeah, Dio. Tim's our art director, by the way, so if you have any questions about that, art director, battle designer. Those poses are fun. Pretty happy with something I'm proud of is the scenes have a good flow. Like, it took me a while to kind of figure out how to get these scenes that flowed from like location to location. They're definitely challenging to do and make the pacing right and make the fades good. But overall, I'm pretty happy with all the scenes, and the sprites, animations really help it come to life. They're just talking more stuff. Alan took the book and the shard. This is a fun little scene. I have a command in here that basically is lighting the screen slowly over like 15 seconds. So if you look very subtly, the screen will get turns to day. Now that I'm looking where that came from, Tim, technically we should have had the ship land on this left side on the world map because that's where it is actually in this game. Yeah, the game was released February 23rd. Sorry, I thought that command would tell you. Did you ever consider to so they have more than one ending? No, we never had a multiple ending. Oh, thank you, Eric. Pretty happy how this one came out too. It's got like a little bit of a lift at the end, like a little bit of a and restarts. I wrote this one like late at night. I think I had just got off the room. I was playing with that Americana band. The music's fine, but it was a little harmonically uninteresting and it kind of grinded on me. So when I remember getting home and it was like midnight, I just went downstairs and went sleeping on the keyboard. And it just sort of flowed out of me. Not in a sort of cheesy way, but well, I guess in sort of the cheesy way. It just sort of happened. Pirates are so funny. I just love the dialogue. Like I mentioned, Captain Blackrod's just obsessed with cleanliness. This guy cuts through the breakers like a saber. Darn if the deck don't shine. What time we got going on? Got about we got 1 minute left. Okay, so this is better time than any to go ahead and close the stream. So thank you guys for watching. I'm really glad we got some people out here. I'm going to be doing this every day until Friday, which is our official anniversary and the last day of sales. So, we don't have to change a thing, Tim. I was just being silly. But, yeah, so I'll be doing this every night, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. And I'm going to try to play through the entire game. So, every secret, everything I can, show off all the DLC, etc. And yeah, please pick up the game if you'd like. And it's for sale until Friday, maybe Saturday morning, very early. And thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.